Ayrshire, where many a Clydesider spends his weekends and holidays. It's a place of charm and attraction, gay with flowers, quiet, flag bedecked. Quiet, that is, until the coming of the Burmah Rally. And of course it's raining. It always is for the Burmah. There's a star-studded entry in 1974. Brian Culcheth brings the Team Castrol Dolomite. Andy Cowan and Ross Finlay drive the Scotsman SMT Vauxhall Magnum, at present without its twin cams and new axle. Donald Heggie, the ex-Scottish champion in the Wiggins Teep RS. Jill Robinson is the main contender for the ladies' prize. And the 1971 winner, Chris Slater, with his Datsun Violet. A bit short of luck recently. He deserves a better turn at the wheel of rally fortune. Then from the land of bogs and blarney, there's Billy Coleman, with a more neatly prepared car than usual. He's pretty smart too. Stars of the show are undoubtedly Roger Clark and Jim Porter. No need to tell anyone their track record. Brian Culcheth has been almost a stranger lately to British rallies. Certainly it's been a long time since Scotland saw him. And Roger wants to know if the sprint will stand up to the forest stages, the rainforest stages of the 1974 Burmah. Andy Cowan, known from the far end of Britain to the outback of Australia, has at least one supporter from the clans. It's coming down in stair rods as the crowds collect at the start, and the sale of programs helps to raise funds for a new saucepan. Meanwhile, scrutineering goes on. There's Will Sparrow, as photogenic as usual. Roger, does this rally stand you in good stead for the RAC?
Well, since they're very similar events that run after the same format and over the same sort of forest, I find it very useful. It's good practice ready for the big RAC rally.
Do you find that you do remember stages?
I don't know. I think trees go past a little bit too quickly for us to remember actual things. You remember the bad bends and the characteristics of the stage, but you can't remember the actual thing as you would do at, say, a race circuit.
Brian, how do you rate the sprint's chances?
Well, we're hoping that we might finish in the first six if we're lucky. We've been doing a lot of testing in preparation for the RAC, and this is our main reason for coming here, to just see what happens when we really start looking for the seconds in the forest.
Do nationals like the Burmah help for international events?
I certainly have no doubt about it. I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of boys going very quick here tonight, which I think might even surprise the old man like me.
Will Sparrow, do you find the Group 1 car an awful lot slower than the Group 5s?
An awful lot slower, yes. I do enjoy driving the Group 5 car very much indeed, but the Group 1 car provides me with a means to go as hard as I can, and this means when I get into the Group 5 car, I think we do go a little bit faster, so I do learn a certain amount from going Group 1.
Russell Brooks, is driving Group 1s a big disadvantage?
Well, obviously we're a big power disadvantage, but I think where you gain in Group 1 is more reliability. I shouldn't say things like that just before the start of a rally, but certainly we've finished every event we've started this year, and it's put us well up in the points table.
And so to the start of this Lanarkshire Car Club event. As befits last year's winners, Roger Clark and Jim Porter are first away of the 117 starters, flagged off by John Lockie, Burmah Oil's Northern Divisional Manager. Andy Cowan and Ross Finlay are at 2. Next, Culcheth Sire, Dolomite Sprint. Billy Coleman, who is to have the drive of his life. With Jack Tordoff and Ballylee non-starters, Chris Slater at number 7 is next away with co-driver Mike Greasley. Donald Heggie and George Dean in a left-hand drive device. Will Sparrow in the dealer team Vauxhall Group 1 Magnum Coupe. One by one, battle is joined. This is Bill Taylor. Jimmy Ray. Mike Hibbert. There's Tony Pond and Mike Broad in the Opel Ascona.
3, 2, 1.
Paul Faulkner. George Hill. Robin Air Monsell, Group 1 Chrysler Avenger GT. Russell Brooks, destined to slide away his chances in the early stages. And the evergreen John Bloxham. Jill Robinson carries all the hopes of the women's lippers. On stage 1, Loch Exide, Roger Clark hasn't yet warmed up to the job. He's 12 seconds down on Culcheth, number 3, who with 26.6 shares fastest time with Coleman, number 4. Mike Hibbert, 14, and George Hill, 18, fight for some sort of grip. And still it rains. It's better being a dog than a marshal on a night like this. On stage 2, Culcheth spins comprehensively, damages his steering, and blocks the road. Clerk of the course, Ian Muir, cancels the stage. Andy Cowan is first on the road on stage 6, Art Garten. Already, Clark is 2 seconds adrift on Billy Coleman, who has made a spectacular beginning. Roger must speed up, but drops yet another second here. Right at the start of 6, there's a typical Burmah Rally unofficial water splash. That's Coleman. So far, he's been fastest over 3 of the 4 counted stages. Taylor in the Royal Bank of Scotland's RS 1600. Donald Heggie. Is Tony Pond, fastest on the previous stage, and in 3rd place, he's pressing the leaders hard. 14 is Mike Hibbert, well over a minute down on the leaders. George Hill is running 5th. Robin Air Monsell is to win the Group 1 award in his Avenger. Paul Faulkner is 4th. John Bloxham in the Birmingham Post Dolomite. He is to finish in 7th place overall. Dawson, Chrysler Avenger. 33 is George Beaver, and bumping well. Jimmy Ray, carrying the Clayburgh colours. As the service crews move from stage to stage, and the night wears on, it becomes clear that Roger Clark is setting firmly about the business of eroding Coleman's lead. On Inbeliever, he picks up a handsome 9 seconds. Andy Cowan is still there, but not among the leaders. He's having trouble keeping the power on the road. Coleman unaccountably slips on this, the 9th stage, losing more than half his lead. After this one, he's only 8 seconds up. Don Heggie is trying hard, but the brakes are locking, adding to his problems in these treacherous conditions. Taylor now, but he's not going to be in much longer. He is to slide off immovably into a peat bog. Jimmy Ray is well up in his class. Mike Hibbert's next on the road. Then comes Tony Pond, still third in a really dogged drive. Paul Faulkner is fifth. And so it goes on. The rain's still bucketing down. And it's true to say that marshals and cameramen feel it far more than the crews themselves. Peter Clark in some kind of trouble. John Bloxham still motoring towards 8th place at breakfast, one stage away. John Barter in the Ford Works RS 1600. By now, dawn is coming up fast. With daylight, the rain and the slippery stages somehow don't seem quite so trying. It's a gentle run to stage 10, Knapdale, the last before breakfast. The lights of civilization are ahead, and there's time enough for Don Heggie and the other competitors to stop for fuel. On 10, Clark pulls back another 3 seconds from Coleman. Andy Cowan is still there. But breakfast is in sight. Soon, it will be full daylight. Clark's services on the way to breakfast. He's reduced Coleman's lead to 5 seconds now, and his favorite stage, Minard, where he usually makes mincemeat of the opposition, is still to come. But all those Scottish midges, clouds of them, are biting the workers to pieces. Clark arrives before the marshals are ready, misses the entrance, and takes an unconventional way in. Tony Pond checks in at the right place, still third, but 1 minute 15 down on Coleman. Jimmy Ray is behind him. Andy Cowan is nearly 3 minutes down. Faulkner, after a tremendous dice with George Hill for 4th place, is now 5th, 2:12 down on Coleman. And now the leader, by only 5 seconds, remember. But breakfast and a quick rest are the order of the day, and there's time to answer questions on how went the night. Andy Cowan.
Yeah, we're quite happy, you know. We're trying pretty hard and still going. I think that's the main thing.
Very well, no problems. It's been a wet and miserable night, but the stages have been very, very good, and the event's been run very well. It's been quite enjoyable.
Well, they suited me very well, actually. I enjoyed myself immensely. They were a mixed bunch, really. Some wide stages, some narrow stages, but all of them wet, of course, and fairly slippery, you know. But I must say I enjoyed it all in all.
Roger Clark leads. On the next stage, he has to lose another 9 seconds to Coleman, 14 in all. But after that comes stage 12, Minard, Roger's favourite, the longest of the rally. Here's Coleman, but his 14:25 for the 11.5 miles isn't good enough. Clark pulls back 13 of those 14 seconds. Now the difference is just 1. Robin Eyre-Mons, still happy in Group 1. Paul Faulkner. Peter Clark with difficulty on the bridge. Andy Cowan. Colin Brewer. Joan Pink, also after the ladies' prize. John Rhodes. With the numbers in the 70s, a touch of madness. Are even madder. Minard is set below the wall of a dam and has a drama all its own. Here's Alan Anderson with it all slipping away from him. On the bridge, it's all a positive symphony of slides. Now the way leads back towards Dunoon, but on the way is stage 13, Ben Lagan, with its twists and drops and hazards. Still, the scenery is terrific. First through is Jimmy Ray. Billy Coleman, trying like mad to stretch his lead. Andy Cowan. Paul Faulkner, now 4th overall, thanks to Hill's diff playing tricks. But Clark makes 3 on Coleman and now leads for the first time by 2 seconds. Tony Pond, still 3rd. Tony Drummond. Mike Hibbert. Everybody is still trying hard. High above Holy Loch and the submarine base is the penultimate stage, number 16, High Kill Moon. On the previous stage, Clark had piled on 2 more seconds, putting him 4 up, but Comer makes up one of them here. 3 the difference now. Mike Hibbert. The nuclear subs are not in view long enough for Jill Robinson, well ahead for the ladies' prize, to appreciate their sleek lines. There's one more stage to go, and everybody is looking forward to getting shot of the motors and stuck into a pint. After all, it's due to finish at opening time. And Roger's obviously not hurrying as they go back through Dunoon to the last stage, 17, Corlarak. Bond is firmly entrenched, 3rd overall. By now the cars are in anything but the right order. There's Jill Robinson again. Comer makes his last great effort, pulls back 2 from Clark, only 1 second down in 12 hours of motoring. At the finish, back in Dunoon, the first car home is Jimmy Ray. And then Andy Cowan, 5th overall. Faulkner, apparently in 4th place to Pond's 3rd. He's behind there. Roger Clark and Jimmy Porter. They look like the winners, but Roger won't commit himself.
Well, we've only had provisional results up to now, so we don't really know. Time will tell.
Well, we're supposing you are the winner for the 2nd year running. How do you feel about it?
Great. That's what we came for.
And when are you off again?
In about an hour's time.
Roger is to compete in South Africa. He nearly couldn't do the Burmah at all. Anyway, how did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it's been a fabulous event again. It's been very, very well run. We've had no arguments with the marshalling, all the timing. There's been very, very good stages. It's been good fun. The only thing, the weather last night was a bit miserable.
And after a longish pause, Billy Coleman and John Ayres. The two drivers compared notes and the navigators their times carefully. It appears that they both agree. There's no doubt at all, Coleman was pipped by just 1 second after his greatest drive ever. Bad luck. But he's entirely resigned to it all.
From what we can find out, it seems we've been beaten by 1 second, by Roger. 1 second.
And how do you feel about that?
A bit fed up really, I suppose, but well, I think we must have a philosophical approach to these things, and we'll always hope for the next time.
Well, apart from that, how did it go?
Oh, it was a fabulous rally. Really enjoyed it, but it was a pretty nerve-wracking experience because of the closeness of the thing, you know. I don't think I'd want to do it again in a way, you know.
But at the prize giving, later that evening, the overall winner is announced.
Star number 15, Tony Pond and Mike Broad.
Both Clark and Coleman had failed to study the regs properly. They stated clearly that lateness at the finish would be penalized. So Clark is clobbered for 16 minutes and Coleman for 20 to finish 41st and 51st respectively. Faulkner moves up to 2nd and Hill to 3rd. And here they are, the real winners. Had they any idea?
I had no idea whatsoever that we were winning the rally. No. I don't think, in the position we were running, that you can ascertain anything like that. We were just trying to hang on to 3rd place and trying desperately to do that.
When we actually arrived at the finish and when we checked in, I realised that both Clark and Coleman had not checked in before me. And then I looked at the regulations again for about the 12th time. And I made absolutely certain that I thought that they should be in before us. And then we sort of had to sit tight and wait for the results to come out. We had an inkling then, and only then.